All right, welcome back. So, you may or may not have noticed that there's been a massive time jump. We are in summer of year 4. That's because I played off stream for a while, and mainly I did that because I didn't think there was going to be that many more cutscenes left in the game, and there was going to be a lot of grinding in order to get all of them. Turns out there were actually more than I thought there'd be. I do wish I had played those on stream, but regardless, you will be able to see them on the channel. I'm compiling them all into character and story related compilations for all of the characters. But I figured it would do to have one final stream where we just have a final tour of Stardew Valley and I take y'all around. So if we go to our event lookup, the only event currently still listed is the Coastal Adventurers Guild at 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. This never triggers, so I'm not really sure why this is here. Either it's an unimplemented cutscene that still shows up in the event lookup, or it's just bugged and doesn't trigger. Regardless, I figured we'd give it a tour of the house. So I did spend a fair amount of time decorating. So we've got our usual area. I set up this area down here to be our decor place. We've got all of our decoration catalogs here. So as you can see, we can just pull a catalog up and we'll get a list of wallpapers, floor, more wallpapers. Over here, we got our Joja catalog that's got all of our Joja furniture. We've got our retro catalog. We have our Junimo catalog with all the Junimo decorations. We've got the Wizard catalog. We have the Trash catalog, which I'm surprised is a thing. And then we have our Furniture catalog, which is our most extensive one and lists. We've got all of our like oak dressers and tables, chairs, paintings, rugs, and all sorts of other accessories. So I've set this up as this little sort of basement area. Spruced up the place a bit. Of course, we have our spouse rooms. For this one is for Juliet and this one is for Leah. Up here, we've got our baby crib room area, and our children are fully grown up and they're shapeshifters, because if I talk to them, I saw a UFO last night, and you'll see this is our daughter Corone. But if I talk to her again, I guess I can't talk to her again. What about our son Reinhard? Mr. really stinks of fish, yuck. So sometimes you can speak to them multiple times and their portraits will warp and change, and sometimes their sprites will warp and change as well. I'm not sure if that is as the result of the bug, like the mod that I have for these characters bugging out, or if I've got multiple mods that are conflicting with each other, but sometimes they'll change to blonde and their sprites will completely change and their portraits will disappear. But anyways, this is the kids' room. So the children, when you have them, they start as infants in the crib, then they become babies that will crawl around the house, and then eventually they become toddlers. Over here we have a little guest bedroom area. And I do find it kind of strange that there's no doorways anywhere in the house, but there is no way of creating those either. Up here I have a sort of like study / office area that I've decorated. And then coming down here, adjacent to the kids' room, there's this little transitional area here that's got some cabinets and statues and whatnot. And then over here we've got the like children's play area with the little puzzle piece table, dolls. There's a periodic table of elements thing up here, and a permanent Christmas tree regardless of what season it is. Then down over here we've got the kitchen area, which then has a dining room table and a living room area with lots of bookshelves and accessory books all over the place. A little area to read on here on this couch. And then we've got a piano, which seems that we can't play, but regardless. And then our little dining room area. And then our two wives, Leah and Juliet. So here's Leah. I wonder how my old neighbors are doing. Marnie, Jazz. Oh, right, and Shane. I guess I'm still technically neighbors with them, huh? Indeed. All right. And then obviously there's the cellar area with all of the wine casks, and there's Junimo chests interconnecting all of them. So all of our ancient fruits go in here. They then get redirected into keg areas that then eventually get redirected into casks to age the ancient fruit wine into aged ancient fruit wine. Anyway, coming out here, we have a tour of our farm. So I don't remember what parts of this I showed on stream and what I didn't, but we've got this whole gigantic crop field area with Junimo huts. So our Junimos will wander around harvesting the ancient fruit. And as you can see, this field is quite extensive, has absolute ton of space for all of this ancient fruit. And this isn't our only farm, but we'll get to later. We've got our crystallariums that are pumping away on all of our various minerals that you can see here in the chest full of, well, we've got our loot here and most of our like ores that are getting transformed into bars and whatnot. And then over here, we've got our mineral area for all of our various minerals, and then we've got another chest for artifacts and bones and whatnot. We have our 2 statues for every day, so we've got our Statue of Blessings and the Dwarf statue. Let's just say get these powers for the day. And then, of course, we've got all of our usual chests. So we've got our wood and stone chest, and that has like tree-related stuff in it, seeds, and then various tools. We've got our first chest that has mostly vegetables in it for crops. Then we've got our second chest, which has a mix of flowers and fruit, and then a little bit of vegetables that are overflowing from the first chest. We've got our forage chest that finds all of our forageable items. Let me put the sweet pea in there. We've got our artisan goods chest, which has our wine, that has our all of our cooked items, etc., and some overflow of vegetables and whatnot and fruits. Let me just pull some of this wine out of here so you can see our wine production is absolutely enormous, and this is over 2 million a piece for these 999 fruits, so we can just sell off some of this excess because we produce wine at a much faster rate than the wine ages from our casks. We've got our first fish chest, which contains various fish. We have our second fish chest that contains all sorts of other fish, mostly the more exotic fish and things that don't neatly fall into like regular fish, so things like eels and nudibranches and whatnot. And then we've got our final chest, which is for basically ocean byproducts and other fishable items that are not necessarily fish by themselves. And then sometimes items will also pop up in here because it seems like the automate mod automatically puts new items into the leftmost available chest if none of the chests have either an item that corresponds to those or that they're full. So we can see like what are our fruit tree things doing in here. Well, we didn't have room for them apparently. And here's where we find like our fish roe, our shells, snails, etc. We also have 3 treasure-related statues that produce iridium, treasures, etc. And then we've got 1 Junimo chest that's connected to the network. So as we can see, like we've got some extra ancient fruit over here, so we can just grab some of this ancient fruit and deposit it into the Junimo chest. I think we're actually overflowed on gold ones. Yeah, so we can put the gold ones in here as well. Over here, we have a disconnected network. So as you can see, this doesn't touch any of the rest of the network because here we have a bunch of our geodes that we're not having transformed into whatever they are via our geode machines. And then also this chest network is connected to charcoal kilns, which transform wood into coal. And so I didn't want all of our excess wood being transformed into coal, so this one has to be separated on the network. Also, fire quartz and regular quartz would be automatically smelted into refined quartz, so I wanted those disconnected from the network as well, just in case I needed fire quartz or regular quartz for anything. Then, as you can see, we have a bunch of sheds. This is to save space mostly on kegs, because we need a bunch of kegs in production in order to produce take our ancient fruits and turn them into ancient fruit wine, which you can see they're doing here. Also, this one in particular has some excess of like corn juice and juices of various kinds. This shed over here is disconnected from the rest of the network, and I have a sign here indicating this is our preserves jars. Mostly, I don't want the preserves jars connected to the network because I want all of our ancient fruits to be turned into wine and then aged wine. But sometimes we do need preserve jar product for quests. So in here you can see we've got tons of various jellies. So this is where I go to put fruits and veg that I need to have as excess items potentially for quests. Also, sometimes just we can have a lot of excess fruits or vegetables of various kinds, so it can help to have that going to produce extra money. Not that we need it, because we have 76 mil at this point. And as you can see, the rest of this here is just a bunch of kegs. So sheds with kegs that just have one Junimo chest in them, which interconnects all of the ancient fruits. Also, I should mention that there's a forge over here in case I need to forge items. And we have our iridium pickaxe with swift ability, so it goes faster. We've got our treble cleaver, which is, as far as I can tell, the most powerful item that we've got. Level 106 club with increased damage capacity, and the Crusader enchantment so that mummies permanently stay dead when we kill them. We've got our iridium axe that has the shaving ability, so we get extra wood. We have our iridium scythe that allows us to harvest multiple crops. We've got our iridium hoe that speeds up. Life elixirs so that we can heal if necessary. We've got our return scepter so that we can teleport back to the farm whenever we need to. Our watering can that is bottomless, so we never have to refill it. Our iridium pan with the archaeologist ability, we get more artifacts. And then our iridium advanced rod with magic bait so that we triple catch fish. And then also this fairy box trinket that I have unattached for now, but I can attach, and it will give me a fairy, which basically means whenever we take any actions like slaying monsters, mining ore, etc., it will heal us. This is completely busted, as far as I can tell, from the perspective of actually fighting enemies. And then we have some FRA combat boots that give +7 defense and immunity, a combined ring that gives a glow, magnetizes items into us, and increases damage. And then the Adventurers Guild membership badge, which is another ring that produces +5 defense, +10% attack, and gives increased magnetism. And then our regular clothes here. So we have our current funds, 76 mil, and our total earnings over our lifetime is 111 mil. And it is day 24 of summer in year 4. We've got our skills here. We have our total key gems, our house, how far we've made it down in the Skull Cavern, and we've got 6 star drops to increase our stamina capacity up to 474 points. We are, of course, level 10 in all areas with our various professions. We have everybody maxed out on hearts, with the exception of obviously anyone who was a romance candidate, because our only romance candidates are Leah and Julia as spouses. But everybody else who is a potential romance candidate we do not have, and this is going to be the major thing I'm working on next. And there is one exception, which is Salvador. So Salvador is a character that is in the Luna Astray mod, and the problem is I just can't find him. So he never shows up in Umui, which is the area that he's supposed to be in, and we'll come back to that later. Over here, I've placed some honey, some bee houses over here to produce honey, mainly just as an extra thing. There's also a bunch of tea saplings to produce tea leaves. We have our mystic trees that are producing mystic syrup, along with regular trees, oaks, and maple trees and pine trees to produce all of the oak resin, maple syrup, and pine tar that we need for various stuff. And then we have our 7 obelisks that transport us to the desert, Zuzu City, Ridgeside Village, the mountains, the beach, Ginger Island, and East Scarp, respectively. We also have our golden clock, which is supposed to prevent debris from appearing on the farm, mostly in between seasons. We've got a bunch of solar panels here producing batteries for us, and I upgraded to 5 silos to store extra hay for winter. Although I think this is probably not even enough on its own, but I think it's fine. And then the Enchanted Grove Warp. Aside from all that, we have 3 coops that have various mishmashes of rabbits, dinosaurs, ducks, chickens, and void chickens. And as you can see as an example, if we come in here, this is the setup of all of our coops. We also have our slime hutch, which is got tiger slimes, and then it produces all of these regular slimes that we can grab. The slime hutch is the one that I prefer the least out of any of the ranching related buildings, because you have to manually walk in here and obtain all the slime. And then we put this here, and then this transforms our 100 slimes into slime eggs that we can sell off. It also produces petrified slime minerals. Then down here, we have a mill that is disconnected from the network, because if it wasn't, it would take all of our crops that could be milled and mill them, so we don't want it to be connected to the network. There appears to be one piece of the floor that has been destroyed here. I'm not sure why. Our lightning rods, and then we've got all of our bait machines to supply all of these crab pots, along with recycling machines to turn all the junk that we fish up into actual useful material. Then we've got pigs and our barns here, so pigs, goats, sheep, cows, and ostriches, as you can see. And then in each field full of our coops and barns, we have this area down here, which is a bunch of grass starters with fences on top of them so that the animals can never completely eat all of the grass, but that the grass starters will keep regrowing the area. And so that is a tour of most of our farm. Let me just clear up all of these truffles. Similar to the slimes, the pigs are the ones that I dislike the most, because although they do have the highest output in terms of money, because the truffles can get transformed into truffle oil, which sells for the most out of anything, you have to go and manually pick up all the truffles. I would rather it just get automated. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So we can come in here and deposit all of our truffles, which will then get transformed into truffle oil. Our wool is being transformed into cloth, milk into cheese, etc. And then finally, over here across the bridge, we have our greenhouse, which has our ancient fruits in it, so we can just harvest all of these ancient fruits. We also have all of our trees of various kinds in the greenhouse that are producing fruits, as we can see here in the chests. We've got all of our fruits here. And then, coming up here along the path, we have Grandpa's Shed, which has an area for a bunch of casks, of course connected to a Junimo chest. And then finally, another greenhouse, of course filled with ancient fruits. And that is that. So here I can auto deposit most of this into the Junimo chest that is in the room. Over here we have a little side area that gets unlocked that has a few forgeable items and some hardwood trees, some mahogany trees that produce hardwood if you chop them down. There's also a little pond here that will refill health and stamina if you're out of it. And then the very last thing on the farm is through the trees here. There's the cave that has a bunch of dehydrators in it that transform any fruit that we put in here into dried fruit. So we can see we have a bunch of dried ancient fruits along with a bunch of other things. These are also producing mushrooms, as you can see, which will get deposited into this chest automatically. And then if we go down here, there is a lower cave area that again has a little pond that we can rest in if we needed to recharge our health and stamina. There is also a trapdoor over here that connects to the subterranean cave below the abandoned orchard in East Scarp that has a big nexus of places, but we won't go in there yet. So that is it for our main farm area. And we can sell this off. So if I take this as an example, we can go to bed for the night and see how much money we obtain from all of that. So as you can see, this is the kind of stuff that we're producing on the daily, 5 mil right there. And then we go to summer 25, year 4. Oh, one other thing about decorations is that, so this chair and this metal block, I did not create. So it seems like our spouses do automatically decorate to some extent. I'm not sure to what though. Being out here in the middle of nowhere is great. No neighbors to complain about the noise. Aw. And then Leah. I was testing out how well my new tent does in the rain this morning, and I found this outside in the mud. That doesn't look like any seed I've seen before. What do you suppose it is? So yeah, your spouses will gift you with certain things. Leah will gift you with a rare seed occasionally. And then our kids are still in bed, so Rone won't leave me alone. So as you can see, our shapeshifters, changing hair color and sprite images. Vincent will come over later, Mum. And the same should be true with our daughter. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He bumped his head, then went to bed and didn't get up till morning. And then, good morning, Mum. So yeah, I'm not sure if that is a result of the mod that is affecting our kids bugging out, or if it's a result of multiple mods affecting the kids that are interacting with each other. Anyway, so when it's raining, the Junimos won't come out, so you will have to manually harvest the fields if that's the case, but it is not seemingly today. So with that said, let's take a tour of some other areas. So apart from our main house, I did decorate some other places. Over here we have our raccoon family, so they'll keep occasionally asking for more things. So here's asking for dried common mushrooms and 5 eggs, but we do have the whole area finished. The wife has this store full of items, which is mostly not too relevant. So the raccoons, for all intents and purposes, are basically over. There was also a trash beaver down here, which when you fed it a certain amount of things, cleaned up all the trash down here below the sewer grate. So I decorated some of the area near the Hat Mouse. I set up this little place here. I wish there wasn't mist here and fog, but what can you do? So there's a little table, like I added a little picnic area, clothesline, which that should be more visible, and then another little table here with a little tiki torch and a little dog house as well. So that is the setup for the Hat Mouse. I decorated some other areas as well, which we'll get to. So the path to Umui opens up right here, north of the Wizard's Tower, and if you walk in here, it teleports you to this little pond area, and then if you walk further in, it teleports you to Umui. So Umui has... Here's Diana. Oh, good day to you, tall girl. The others think I'm strange for I learned such a different style of speaking. I don't mind. She will occasionally transform into a human. And then over here, we have our Umui underground cave greenhouse area that itself does have a bunch of more ancient fruits. So if I can just get on my tractor here, I can harvest this stuff much faster. And then harvest this part over here. And then finally we have a chest here in case I need to drop off anything, and another Junimo chest to drop off the ancient fruits into the Junimo chest. And then there's a whole bunch of houses. So Salvador is supposed to appear over here. Salvador is the father of Bianca and Raphael, but he's just never here. I've never managed to actually find him, so I'm guessing the character is just bugged. And from what I've been able to look at online, it seems like other people do encounter him, like he's not an actually absent character, but I just can't find him anywhere. So I'm basically giving up on finding Salvador. Another area I decided to decorate was the entrance to the mines. So I set up some flooring and some tables and whatnot, just to make the area a little bit more like, you know, you're not just walking into a dank cave with a bare floor. Hey, would you want to grab some ice cream sometime? I mean, there's that stand right by the library, and an afternoon of eating and reading sounds pretty good. Fantastic to me. Although maybe not at the same time. We'll get chased out of town with torches and pitchforks for turning pages sticky-handed. I believe Corone may walk the path of a valiant warrior. Oh, Juliet asked me to demonstrate a few sword moves during the festival, for fun, of course. You won't believe this. Corone grabbed a tree branch and copied my moves with near-perfect precision. So the other characters will comment on your children, which is pretty nice. And then aside from all that, I decorated the bus area. So I gave a flooring with some outdoor tables and whatnot. And that's the main areas that I decided to decorate with a little bit of extra stuff. Like I put a path here, there's some lamp posts and whatnot. But for the most part, those are the areas I decided to decorate. Now heading over to East Scarp, I can show the meadow farm. So warp to East Scarp. And if you head up here to the northern area, so if we head up here, we can find the meadow farm. And indeed, here are our ancient fruits. In this case, the Junimos are not harvested this stuff because it is raining, but normally they would harvest all of this. And then we can head in here. So I just filled up this area with casks. There's only a few select areas in the game that you can actually put casks. So I opted to mostly fill up this area with one area over here leading to the trapdoor. And then over here is the Summit Farm in Ridgeside Village, which also I've set up as a bunch of areas. Mostly ancient fruit, although I did add some extra reoccurring crop areas like green beans and hot peppers and whatnot. And as you can see, this area is probably the biggest farm in the entire game. Really huge space here. And you can get upgrades to this farm. So you may notice there's no sprinklers anywhere, and that's because you can upgrade the farm so that there are underground sprinklers, so you don't have to set up sprinklers anywhere. I also added some additional sheds here for just more kegs to keep turning our ancient fruits into ancient fruit wine. There's also this little area up here that adds in a little quarry area, mostly irrelevant. And then down here, I added a bunch of fish ponds with some various fish to produce more materials as needed. And then inside, there's this area, which I decorated a little bit, but not very much. And then coming out here, you'll see it is connected via the minecart system to the rest of Ridgeside. So coming down over here, we can find the Ridgeside Community Greenhouse. In here, I added some additional crops that are recurring, along with, of course, ancient fruit as normal. Here, I do have to manually harvest them all because there's no Junimo huts here. And then obviously I have left a Junimo chest in here so that I can auto-deposit most stuff in there. And that takes care of Ridgeside Village. However, there is one additional area down here by the hike trail, which is the abandoned greenhouse that becomes available. And in here, I did also plant a bunch of crops in here as well. So we've got all of that. And that'll do it for there. And that just leaves Ginger Island, which, of course, has its own field of ancient fruits that I've set up, which, for whatever reason, you're not allowed to build structures on Ginger Island, so I can't set up Junimo huts here. So I do have to come in and manually harvest all of this stuff whenever the ancient fruits finish, and it looks like they finish every 7 days with hyperspeed grow planted in the ground. There's also some pineapples here. I got rid of all of the ones that were touching the edge here because when I harvested them, a lot of times they would just fall off and plop into the water. So like, whatever. There can just be a line here that's free. And then of course, there is a bunch of bee houses with a fairy rose at the center to produce fairy rose honey that sells for 952 gold a piece, which is the highest selling of all the honey variants. Over here in the walnut room is Mr. Key. Hey, don't tell anyone about this place, okay? I want to keep it exclusive, where you can find key challenges, but I have done all of the challenges, so the only reason to do any more is to just keep getting more key gems. And then over here, you can spend the key gems to obtain various things, none of which I really need at the moment. And then here is your progress tracker. So this tracks perfection. How much produce and forage you've shipped, how many obelisks you have on your farm, if you've got the golden clock, if you slayed all the monsters related to the monster quest, if you befriended everyone to max level, all of your levels, if you found all the star fruits, if you cooked all the recipes, crafted everything that you can craft, and caught all the fish, and got all the golden walnuts. As you can see, I have most of this stuff, but there are things that I'm obviously missing, so I'm only 78% finished. You can also buy waivers to get very, very slightly ahead on the percent towards your perfection. So if you don't want to, for example, catch every fish and craft every item, which I think I've done a fair good job of trying, and I don't know what I'm missing from that, then you can head over here on Ginger Island. Oh, also this area becomes available. Corona seems quite curious about fishing. Maybe I could show her the ropes one day. You're looking good there, farmer. I wonder what kind of fish you can catch in these waters. Well, that's a question for another day. I'm here to relax. So the villagers will come over here. Oh, Juliet's here. Ah, those juicy fruits on Torque Farm are practically begging to be devoured. And yeah, sharing some with Crone and Reinhard too. Sun, surf, babes, and bikinis. What more can we wish for, eh? And then Rosa. You know, it feels like yesterday you'd bring Corona here seeking a babysitter. Knowing how responsible she's become is really heartwarming. You see, Corona has always felt like the child we all helped nurture in the Scarp. Well then. So yeah, I have mods that add in children-related cutscenes and dialogue for the characters. So over here, if we head into the cave, we can find Fizz. Fizz will sell Yeah, so what do you say? 500,000 G for a bona fide perfection waiver. So he will sell perfection waivers that give you very, very slight nudges towards perfection. So what if I buy one? You've got a perfection waiver total of 2. I believe they give you like 0.5%, or they give you like some fraction of a percent, or 1% or something. A very, very small amount. So technically we could just buy all the perfection waivers to get to perfection, which I may wind up doing. So let me add that to the list. Perfection, just perfection to the list, and I'll hide that for now. So as you can see on my to-do list, there really isn't very much more. The only things left on the to-do list are the movie theater. So when I tried to see the Winter Zuzu Express movie, it just kept bugging out. So I have that as a thing to do. Salvador in a movie, which I've basically given up on. There's one quest that listed itself for the community center that said if you go to the community center when Carolyn, Marnie, Jody, and Evelyn were all there, which has disappeared from our quest logs for the most part, as you can see. I don't know what determines whether that quest appears or not. And then finally, just make sure to check the quest boards. I think I've done all of the cutscene related quests on the special bulletin boards for Ridgeside, Stardew, and Expanded, but I don't know if I've done all of them for Scarp, because the Scarp wiki does not list their quest boards, unfortunately. Anyway, that takes care of Ginger Island, so with that, let's, oh, hey Lance. I found this cinder shard while adventuring. You can have it. It's a useful resource for trading and crafting. All right, so let's head back to the farm. So one other thing that I would like to demonstrate is in the desert. So let's head over to the desert. So over here, what I was finding is that even with all of those sheds with the kegs, I still wasn't able to keep my keg production, like turning ancient fruits into wine, above the amount of ancient fruits that I was creating, and that would cause problems because then the chests back at the farm would get filled up. So I added a ton of kegs to the desert, and as you can see, this is an absolute gargantuan amount of kegs. I could add more if I wanted to take up more space in the desert, but for right now, this is our keg production from turning ancient fruit into ancient fruit wine. And even with this amount of kegs, it is still not enough to keep up with our production of ancient fruits, but what can you do? And so with that, I believe that is all of the areas worth touring. So I'm not sure if I'm done with everything. I think there are still some child-related cutscenes to go, perhaps. They show up every some amount of days, and it's not clear how many. Like, sometimes I can go a whole week before another cutscene will appear. But when I got up to this point in the game, the reason I stopped grinding off stream was because I decided that if I went a week of in-game time without seeing another cutscene, that would be the time to end things. And then the only, so there's basically, if there's any more child cutscenes to go, and then the other one is the bulletin board. Oh, yeah, so as you can see, these little check marks show the ones that we've already completed. So the only things that are potentially still available to do are more Scarp quests. I'm not sure if that's the case. Also, there seems to be a pretty big character from Scarp that I'm overlooking, which is Yuri the Architect, but the original mod creator of Yuri the Architect has hidden their mod, so you can't get it anymore. I tried looking around to see if I could maybe find somebody who like posted a mod on a forum, and I did find a Reddit link to one, but it was giving me concerning computer permissions when I was trying to use it. So when I would try to move it around, it would say like, oh, you need to add administrative privileges to move this folder around, and that kind of freaked me out. I didn't want to mess with that, so it seems like we're just not going to see Yuri the Architect. But otherwise, I've basically got all these Scarp characters that I'm interested in. There's one last thing to check out, and that is Downtown Zuzu. So, if you recall from the previous VODs, there was one thing that I hadn't completed in Downtown Zuzu, and that's if you take the plane to the Kahuna Resort. So fly over to Kahuna, and there is this cave over here, which if we go into this cave, there's this little rune that we can step on. So we didn't complete all of these runes. I did go back and complete all of them. It just required that you come back to this rune when you had certain items in your inventory, and that would give you other items as a reward. But otherwise, this seems to be the end of this quest line for now. The rune has nothing more to offer you yet. Yeah, so this seems to be done. And Downtown Zuzu in particular, like, while Ridgeside is basically a complete experience, it seems, and Scarp is mostly a complete experience, Downtown Zuzu does seem to be missing a lot. So now, the main thing to get is just going to be finishing up all of the various character stuff. So obviously, there's all of the romance candidates that we haven't seen any of their heart scenes, or their heart event cutscenes for them being romance candidates, obviously, because we're not dating or married to any of them, only Leah and Juliet. Now, So you may be wondering, like, well, why don't I just go around and romance them all? Like, I've got the polyamory mod on, obviously, because I'm married to both Leah and Juliet. Why don't I just marry everybody? And there's 2 reasons. One is that I do really intend for this to basically be my main save, and so I don't want to complicate it by adding a house full of romance candidates. The second thing is because even if I were to do that, I actually cannot complete certain of these routes, and that's because apparently you must choose certain dialogue options in cutscenes with these characters for some of them to become romanceable. So in particular, if I can just go back through them. So Paula has a specific option that you have to choose in order for her to become romanceable, and if you don't, she's just permanently not romanceable for the rest of the game. Rodney, same thing. At the end of his cutscenes, he has the option of romancing you, and I chose the platonic route, so we can't pick Rodney. Mateo also is a potentially romanceable candidate, but if you choose to be friends with him, that goes out the window. I'm not sure if Bryle is still romanceable or not, and a lot of these characters are tied up in other characters, so Bryle and Faye are interconnected with each other. And then we've got all of the regular 8-heart romance characters. Luna, I chose dialogue options that make her no longer romanceable, and not only not romanceable, but you don't even get to see the rest of her storyline. And this bears true for a number of other characters as well. So basically, what the plan is we start a fresh save, and we just cheat our way through most of the games to overcome a lot of the, like, grinding aspects of it, which we can't, unfortunately, entirely overcome, but we can overcome most of it by just cheesing our way through the game. And then the object is to get back here. Now, there are a number of characters that are potentially very difficult, and there are traps that we can perhaps fall into. Some characters are very interdependent on other characters and advancing at certain times. So, for example, Katarina was one of the most difficult characters, and she was the one that had the most cutscenes when I was playing offline, just grinding. And that's because she only appears on the 15th of each month, and she has a bunch of requirements in order to actually get all of her cutscenes, and she's a character who also requires that you pick certain dialogue options in order to romance her. And on top of all of that, I've read that she is not romanceable if you are married already, although I'm not sure if that's true. So potentially, in the next playthrough, we have to abstain from actually dating anybody until we can date Katarina first. I'm not sure if that's the case, though. Additionally, Morris is a character that you do not see on this list who gets run out of town when you choose the community center route, and in order to get all of his cutscenes, you actually have to pick the Joja route. And the Joja route makes certain other characters cut off. So I think if we choose to do Morris's storyline, that's going to have to be its own entirely separate playthrough. Additionally, there are all of these Zuzu characters. It seems like none of the Zuzu characters are actually complete. I was trying to look up information on which ones of them, like, because it seemed like I hadn't gotten even 4 cutscenes with any of them, and it seems like just a bunch of them, or just all of them, are not even finished. And on top of that, there's a ton of characters that don't even have any cutscenes. Like, I believe Selena has 0 cutscenes. And that's also true for some other characters. So, for example, Beatrice and Scarp, despite being a core character in that expansion and not requiring additional mods to be downloaded, appears to have 0 cutscenes. So I have compiled a text list of all of the cutscenes that we are missing from these characters that I should record. Primarily, these are romances with characters that we never dated or married. However, there are a couple of exceptions. So Aideen apparently has a scene that I missed somehow, maybe, I'm not sure, where she's looking for a guest in the Scarp Inn. I've also pointed out any scenario where I have to pick specific dialogue options with other characters, so it is not as simple as just running through all of their cutscenes and skipping any cutscenes that we've seen already, because sometimes they may potentially involve choices in the cutscene that can change things. Camilla apparently has a cutscene if you're simultaneously dating Olivia and Victor. Faye requires a specific choice. Hector also requires a specific choice. Irene requires a specific choice. Luna requires a specific choice. Apparently, I missed the first scene in the water facility with Maddie, so I have to go get that cutscene. Additionally, I missed the nurse scene with Maru in the town clinic. Mateo requires a certain choice. I need to get the movie theater Zuzu City Express in winter. I was not initially recording any of Mr. Key's cutscenes, but I feel like I should actually put those together. So I believe I'm missing a cutscene when you get to level 100 of the Skull Cavern, when you get to the Walnut Room on Ginger Island, and I don't remember if there's a cutscene that plays when you're at their casino, but those are the minimum ones I believe I still need. There's Olivia, where apparently I missed a scene with her when she introduces Victor. Paula requires a certain choice. There is, I believe, a missing scene with Richard. I think I've gotten 3 of his scenes, and there's 1 that's missing. When I got to a scene with Vivian and Rosa in the Scarp Hotel, I missed, I screwed up the audio on that scene, so I want to go back and re-record that scene to get all of the audio. And the 8 heart cutscene with Sydney bugged out both times that I tried to play it. So hopefully we can play that cutscene again without it bugging out. But if it bugs out again, I'm not going to try to force the issue. And then obviously the scene with Vivian is bugged for both Rosa and Vivian. And then Zane requires a choice. And then I want to see if there are any Zuzu character cutscenes that I overlooked, including any romance scenes. I think Gwen is the Zuzu character who's the most complete out of any of these. But anyways, so those are all of the cutscenes that we're going to try to do for the playthrough. And so the reason I'm stopping here is because it feels like we've basically completed everything there is to do in the game. There's essentially no more quests. I'm not sure if, again, the eScarp bulletin board or maybe there's some additional children cutscenes to go, but it seems like for the most part there aren't. And this thing never triggers, and I can't find a way to get Salvador to actually show up. So we are pretty much going to end things here and start over. The one last thing we're going to do is we're going to go get all those perfection waivers, and we're going to get to 100% perfection to see the perfection summit cutscene as the very last thing we do in the game. Oh, it's still raining, eh? Hey, lover, I've been thinking about you all day. Yes, most of it was good. How good? Well, you'll have to wait and see. Kissy kiss. What is going on down here? Oh, our cat is behind the piano. Sometimes their characters are missing from here, which is kind of weird. Like Leah doesn't appear to be here. Yeah, I guess. Oh, no, she's down here. You smell nice today. Julia and Leah are just the best girls, and it's not even close. How's school going? Fine, I guess. Is Okayo getting breakfast too, Mom? What did you do at school this week, Karone? We did lots of math problems. Did you sleep well too, Mom? I do wish you could do more with your kids. It seems like they mostly just exist in the house, or sometimes they'll walk around town, but it doesn't feel like you can actually do anything with them. And that's true of the spouses as well. Like these characters will say all kinds of things to you, like, oh, hey, I'm going on a hike later. Do you want to come with me? But you actually can never go with them. Also, our kids are ghosts and will sometimes phase through solid matter. What can we do? Anyways, let's go finish the perfection as the very last thing we do in the game. So hello, Fizz. All right, Fizz, give me some of those perfection waivers. And we're just going to grind this for a while. We've got the money to do it, so we're going to be here for a bit. I guess I should check to see how much does this actually advance. Okay, so we are at 19 perfection waivers. So what happens when I go over to the Walnut Room and check on our perfection percentage? I do like that the creator of the game, Eric Barone, gives you an out, right? Like, hey, if you want to get perfection, if you want to see the perfection cutscene, right? Like, you just want to see what happens, but you don't want to grind, I don't know, catching every single fish in the game, you do have a way of just getting around it. All right, 78%, so plus 19 waivers is 78%. So what happens when we go back and we got our 20th waiver? What happens to the percentage? So we're back, we're at 78%, we're gonna buy waiver number 20. Okay, and now let's head back to the Walnut Room. All right, did it go up? It did not. So yeah, each waiver is only a fraction of a percent. So we're gonna be grinding it a while. We can't talk to him again? I can only buy 22? Huh? Can you only buy a certain number per day? I'm very confused now. All right, well, what happens if we go to bed and then go back to the island? Or are you actually capped at a certain amount of waivers? Because if that's the case, that's some bull. You feel it in your heart. Somewhere, somehow, Grandpa is beaming with pride. The legacy of Torque Farm is eternal? Huh? You feel the mountain summit calling to you. Oh, did we achieve perfection? But we were only at 78%, right? Or does the percentage, is it a point added to the percent? Oh, so does the percentage tell you how much percent you're actually at, and then the waivers are 1 point per waiver? That would make more sense. Yeah, I was testing. Here's another rare seed. It's Corone's birthday, right? Yoba sounds angry. Have a nice day, Mom. You can't gift any gifts to your kids, unfortunately. I get to choose what we have for dinner. Chicken nuggets? Good morning to you too, Mom. I'm trying out a new rhythm. Gotta shake these rats from the rafters. Sometimes you also can't kiss your spouse. I'm not sure what determines why you can't. Anyway, so we don't have another cutscene on the event lookup. So if we can do the summit, I wonder what happens if you go to the summit while it's raining. All right, well, let's go. Let's see it. Oh, is it gonna be foggy? All right, I guess we'll if the cutscene looks like crap because it's raining, we'll just quit out and then do it again on the next day. All right, to the summit. And here we go. Perfection. Hey, farmer. So beautiful up here. I was just thinking about the last 4 years. We've been through a lot together, haven't we? But look how far we've come. All right, that's clearly wrong. Uh-huh. Yep. Oof, that's pretty rough. Is it because our main spouse is Julia and not someone else? Huh. What is going on over here? Okay. Ooh. And Electo. With a pixel out of place. And a bunch of fairies. And aliens. Okay. And the purple pig from the traveling merchant cart on a hoverboard with a bunch of presumably gold in a sack. Okay. So it's all of the vanilla characters. Who else is going to be here? The dog. Oh, and Stardew Expanded. Okay. Do we get Scarp and Ridgeside as well? Or just Expanded? Oh. Electo. Oh, we got everybody. Uh-huh. There's our trash beaver. Animals. Yep, there's our pet. There's our pet cat. And Diana from Umui, from Luna Stray. What is the barrel? Oh, is that Andrea in disguise? The spirit ghosts from the Ridgeside Forest? Oh, there's Diana not as a human. All the shadow people from Umui. And Salvador, even though Salvador never showed up. More Scarp characters. Mine's Hannah. And our kids. Sydney, I think that's Chico. It's hard to tell. The Wizard, Dwarf, Sandy, Fish. Oh, Zuzu characters, all the Adventurers Guild people, the Ghost Prospector from the Ghost Town. More Scarpers. I wonder how it determines what order it puts them all in. White chicken, brown chicken, blue chicken, void chicken, golden chicken, which we never got, duck, rabbit, dinosaur, white cow. We're gonna really divide the cows up too. No? Goat, sheep, pigs, ostrich, monsters. Oh, we're going through all the monsters too? Oh no, here's the fish. Okay, so are we just completely like out of sync with what's actually appearing on the screen because of all the mods we have? Well, here's our fish. I don't think we ever caught a single shrimp. Is this all of them in the game? This is all of them in the game, right? Because like the golden chicken, we never got any golden chickens, but they showed up. So I guess technically we could see the ones that we're missing. We're missing Miss Angler. I don't think we ever caught any regular Lunaloos or baby Lunaloos. I never caught any daggerfish or water grubs. Snatcher worms, cerulean nudibranch. A bunch of the sprites are missing on these, okay. I don't think I ever caught any Cape tree frogs, although I know where they are. Yeah, I'm guessing the summit cutscene, like, there's no music right now. I'm guessing it's designed to play in a certain amount of time, and that time was increased because of all the mods. Slimes, dust sprites, bats, oh, those are stone golems? Wilderness golems. Wilderness golem purple, never found that. Shadow people, go... Oh, what is happening right now? We didn't get to see everything. Cool. It's been a long road. You challenged yourself to reach the summit. What an accomplishment. I really hope it doesn't save after this so we can go back and see it again, but with Leah. We've been watching every step of the way. And you've made us very proud. Oh, that's it. Okay. Uh-huh. Wait, the summit specifically is not raining? That's really weird. Okay, well, I don't think the cutscene will play out any differently, but I do think the dialogue might not be bugged if we have Leah as our primary. So let's exit to title and try that again, but switch to Leah. So yeah, community center when Carolyn, Marnie, Joni, and Evelyn are there. I don't know why this shows up sometimes. Like, clearly it's because you can get a cutscene when they're all there, but they're just not there on most of the time. Otherwise, I would have gotten that scene already. Anyway, so we need an Ain flower, and we need to give this to Leah. Oh, thank you. I love you so much too. I'm happy to help in any way I can. All right. So what happens when we go back to the summit, but with Leah as our primary spouse? Will she also have screwed up dialogue? We'll see. All right, here we go. New achievement, perfection. And Leah is our spouse this time. Hey, farmer. It's so beautiful up here. I was just thinking about the last 4 years. We've been through a lot together, haven't we? But look how far we've come. I think we've both found what we were looking for in this place. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here with you. Okay, so for whatever reason, the dialogue was screwed up on Julia. Why? Just because she's a modded character, I guess? Huh. So another question is going to be, is this cutscene going to play out the same way? Like, I imagine the cutscene is going to play out because the game is modded and not because of which character was our primary spouse. I don't think there's any way around that other than just unmodding it. It's been a long road. You challenged yourself to reach the summit. Sort of. I did cheat 22% of that. What an accomplishment. We've been watching every step of the way, and you've made us very proud. And it just sort of ends here, right? All right, well then. We still got the community center, so first things first, we're switching back to the better main. Where's Juliet? Aha. Hello, Juliet. Here's an Ain flower. I wonder if that's reflected in the NPC listings. It is not. All right, well, nobody's at the community center right now. Well, there has to be a reason why this reappeared. And unfortunately, you can't just cheat by skipping the time ahead to see if they go there, because the NPCs do not just teleport to wherever they're supposed to be. They actually physically walk from one spot to another. So if you start cheating the time to try to get NPCs to appear in specific locations, it just doesn't work. So we actually do have to, in real time, wait it out to see if any of them head to the community center or not. I guess one final go around the town. Please don't worry, I will keep a close eye on Reinhard's health and help him slowly regain the ability to have a regular diet. Corone is brimming with energy and so healthy, it's truly marvelous. May Corone have that cheerful smile on the face forever and ever. Mia said she's happy to babysit Corone if you want to hang out at the saloon. You should take it easy sometimes, farmer. Hey farmer, Mia baked some cookies. Want me to grab some for the kids? I know the first few months with a baby can be challenging. Carolyn has a collection of books on parenting. You can ask her if you want to take a look. Juliet's been giving me these strange looks lately. Am I imagining things? Looks like we've got another new baby in town. Don't you worry, I've stocked up on all the baby supplies. If you ever need anything, just stop by. I've learned about your child's health condition, and I'm really sorry to hear that. By the way, I can almost help you stock up on lactose-free baby food. Please rest assured, I won't take advantage of your situation. I don't believe you, Pierre. Also, you're selling all the same stuff as normal. Traditionally speaking, Saturday night is when couples often go out on a date together. Now we both know I'm not a traditional girl, but the going out on dates part, yeah, I'm still down with that. I'm sorry, wait, are you hitting on me while I'm married to 2 women? Because I'm down for it. Oh, the kids' happy faces when they got the gifts were just too precious. I think I'll get them some more. And Pierre, well, he was just saying not to go overboard, but all the ladies have their secret stash of money. Oh, you're not the only ones with the secret stash. Wait, is the book over there really... Hang on. The enduring value of small business. Oh my dear, you look like you've been through the ringer. Is Juliet also drained like you? Why don't you come over sometime soon? Let Granny whip up some delicious, hearty cooking for the 2 of you. Your mother paid us a visit before she left. It was a wonderful surprise. It's been ages since we last saw her. Oh, Yoba, when babies are newly born, it's important to introduce them to different foods gradually. You've to check for any food allergies. You didn't do that with Corona and nothing happened? That was just sheer luck. Now let's be more cautious with Reinhard, okay? Oh dear, the next time you bring the kids over, be sure to give Granny a little heads up, okay? I can bake up some yummy goodies just for them. What if they made ice cream out of protein instead of cream? No, hear me out. It would just be like a protein shake, but iced. I think I might be onto something. All right? You look terrible. Go get some more sleep. After all these years, she finally remembered this small community. You notice that George is savoring the snacks her mother brought with great relish. Bring those kids of yours to town more often. You're stepping into a new chapter in life. May this new phase in your life be filled with success and happiness. Hey, Jasper. The sound of rain upon the roof is so restful, don't you think? A good do very little kind of day. I agree. What do you say, Mr. Nice Guy? I'm glad I could help, and your kiddos are seriously adorable. Do I still have a chance of finding love? I'm sorry, you just said this right after you just mentioned my kids? Okay. Ooh, Carolyn and Evelyn at the community center. So now we just need Marnie and... Who's the last one? And Jody over there. Maybe. I took some snapshots of Reinhard. Want to check him out? He's so adorable, right? Although, I gotta admit, he sure knows how to make some ruckus. My ears are still buzzing. Oh, hello, you two. Oh yeah, I remember, you've asked me to help Reinhard with a new outfit, right? I'm planning to make a blue one. I hope Reinhard will like it. Emily told me how adorable Corone is. I'm dying to meet the little sweetheart, but dragging kids to this scorching desert would be a terrible idea, right? Alright, now we have another cutie to adore. I really want to meet Reinhard. So it seems like all of the dialogue is backlogged, because I didn't talk to them initially. So now we just get all of it at once. Taking care of kids is no joke, man. You can't even zone out for a second. If you're ever in need, don't forget to give me a holler. Carolyn, Evelyn, Jody... but not Marnie, who's still over at her ranch. During my time at the vineyard, Corona and Reinhard couldn't take their eyes off the wine I ordered as if they believed it to be a large bottle of grape juice. My, aren't they just adorable? You know, I've got a bunch of old games that are actually great for kids. Let me search around and see if I can find them. Maybe the old console's still lying around somewhere. If you ever need a hand with Corona, please feel free to ask anytime. I do have some experience, and by the way, I have a stash of old toys in my basement you're welcome to borrow. Oh, by the way, this is the kids' treehouse that the kids will occasionally come to. How old are these? So my guess is when Marnie leaves her ranch at 4 p.m., maybe she'll head over to the community center? We'll have to wait and see. I've been doing some research on the Shadow Folk, and the more I read into it, the more it seems like the information we have is inaccurate. A lot of it seems written from the fearful perspective rather than an academic one, which I empathize with, but that doesn't make it right, accurate, or fair. Hey there, welcome to the Two Kiddos Club. Looks like we're growing. It warms my heart to see Sebi enjoying the company of kids more than I thought he would. Congratulations, I heard that your little one has started calling you. This is truly one of the happiest moments of parenthood. So am I going crazy, or is there a wizard's tower in the forest? I really need to drink more water. I'm seeing things. So Sydney did not mention the kids, so I'm guessing it only takes into account certain characters, although it takes into account like Scarp and stuff, so Oh, there's Sebastian. The kids seem to be having a great time. That's great. At first, I thought there was no more room in my heart for more family, but it turns out there's plenty more room. You, Uncle Linus, Willie, everyone. I have 2 families now. Hey, farmer, I caught sight of your children. They're so lovely. I'm truly happy for you. Oh, there's our daughter. There's Willie phased through a chair. Hey, farmer, it would have been a real disaster if I hadn't caught that. Keep a firm grip on the kid. You got that? Also phased through a chair. Nice ladies. You know, I would have liked to see the girl save herself even just once, but no, it always had to be her knight. You know, what is this in reference to? I'm truly sorry. I will keep a close eye on Vincent from now on, and this won't happen again. Just say the word if you need me to look after your children, all right? Oh my, isn't this just adorable? I know Corona's a tad mischievous sometimes, but it seems like she's already showing signs of becoming a responsible big sister. Do you need recommendations for lactose-free baby formula? I went through something similar with my children when they were born, so I'm quite familiar with it. Oh, young love, it's always so passionate. He's far too old for her. Oh, he may be forever youthful, but she's a teenage girl. Whatever could he see in her? What are we referring to? Also, you're levitating? Witnessing a little baby endure such pain is truly heart-wrenching. I hope Reinhard makes a speedy recovery. Oh, did he, like, ask out one of the girl kids? Or no, Penny, maybe? I don't know. Is Marnie finally on the move? No, she's still at her ranch. Come on, we got 3 out of 4 of them here. Bernie's pretty fond of me. Quite a good kid, I must say. But, farmer, you can come to me as well. You know that, right? I doubt anyone here is better at changing baby diapers than me. I'm pretty much a pro at this. The very first time Meredith called me was the epitome of pure bliss in my life, surpassing the joy of receiving any award from my books. Reinhard was super pumped when he received my autograph. You must have read him my books, right? What? You didn't? Could it be Juliet, then? Or maybe nobody read it to him. On this lovely day, witnessing the villagers coming together, sharing laughter, and engaging in heartfelt conversations, all for these adorable children, it was a truly heartwarming sight. Well, it looks like the other women are leaving the community center, so yeah, I don't know what determines... Oh, there's Andrea. Oh, you found me. As promised, here's a prize. I should stay away from that wizard at the forest and that man who wears a red scarf. He told me about them before, too. Hello, Mariner. I will not buy a pendant from you. All right, well, I think that is pretty much going to be that. So let's head to sleep. Summer's just about over, but what a great summer it was. Then again, I love every season I get to spend time with you. Aw. Being out here in the middle of nowhere is great. No neighbors to complain about the noise. You know, I wonder, because we got 2 spouse rooms here, right? We have Juliet's and Leah's. So I wonder in the next playthrough, when I go and romance everyone, if this is just gonna keep stretching to the right forever. That would be interesting. The jellies sound really cool. Mom, I want to say goodbye to the Moonlight Jellies today, too. The Moonlight Jellies are coming tonight. Can we catch one? So indeed, the Moonlight Jelly Festival is upon us. Do we have any new events? We have allegedly a new event at the farm, and still the community center thing. That's another one. Sometimes it'll show this weird event, which sometimes takes place even before 6 a.m., which is impossible. And sometimes that'll trigger an event, and sometimes it won't. So I don't know what's going on there either. Yeah. All right, 10 p.m., Moonlight Jellies. And here come the Junimos to harvest the crops. Don't know what's up with this one. All right, I just want to advance one more day just to see if anything changes when we get to fall. If there's like some more cutscenes or something. But that'll be the end of it. So let's just skip straight to 10 p.m. for the Jelly Festival. Head on in to the Jelly Fest. All right, Lewis, cast the boat off for the Moonlight Jellies. The glow of summer has faded, and the Moonlight Jellies carry on toward the great unknown. All right. Will anything happen in fall? A 9 a.m. cutscene on the farm. Okay, that's probably an actual cutscene. This has got to be a date night cutscene, right? Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to wish you a happy fall. The time is just flying by. Every day with you is amazing. I have something for you. Oh, it's not. So she just comes out and is like, hey, let's dance together every time. All right. I've enclosed in this package an item of arcane significance, a jade. Very well. Let's head over to the quest board and just see if there's anything new there. Nothing new. We've done both of these already. All right. Oh, Katarina's back. Spent all weekend proofreading articles and, the grammar, the spelling. Doesn't anyone know how to use a dictionary anymore? This rooster has a mad gleam in his eyes. Reinhardt's smile is pure magic. It lights up the whole town. All right. Let's just go ahead and see what this cutscene is. I'm assuming it's another children-related cutscene. Okay. Nothing triggered. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, it's going to be in the house. All right, let's see what it is. There we go. Oh, honey, perfect timing. Come on over. I'm reading this book, and it has some interesting insights, you know? Juliet handed you the book Balanced Parenting, a guide by award-winning author Zhao. The author's name sounds somewhat familiar. In this book, there are some great tips in parenting strategy for new parents. Dive into this section first. The section Juliet is pointing brings up the concept of parents assuming different roles in raising their kids. One of them acts as the nurturing parent, offering emotional support and warmth, and the other one takes on the strict role, establishing clear boundaries and expectations for the child's better development. I'm thinking her ideas totally make sense, right? How about you? Should we give it a try? Right, I thought we'd be on the same page about this. Okay, how about this? I'll play the tough parent, and you can go easy on them. Sound good? Yeah, that's not gonna happen with Juliet. I prefer being strict. Why do you suggest otherwise? I'm okay with the nurturing role, but why do you suggest this? I've been mulling it over. You see, you spend most of your time working the farm, mining and fishing, and by the time you get home, it's pretty late, right? And if you just walk in and start acting all strict, how do you think the kids will take it? They might get really scared of you, tremble at the sight of you. They might go so far as to think you don't love them. They could even have dreams of you turning them into doves. No way, that's not happening. Makes sense, doesn't it? Also, considering I'm home most of the time, I'll get more chances to show them love. They probably won't get the idea that I'm only good at scolding. This actually makes a lot of sense, so no worries about me. While I'm not sure if I can pull off this role, I'll certainly do my best. All right, that was pretty good. Hi, Mommy. I found this in the woods. You can have it. Two pieces of grass. Okay. Well, that was nice. All right, I'm just going to make sure to save, just so we're good, just so we're clear. So yeah, I think there's probably a lot more child cutscenes to go, but without really knowing how to trigger them, other than just constantly keep grinding days on end, I think that would make for a pretty boring stream. Yeah, this 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. thing is back again. Don't know what's up with that. I know harvest season is a busy time for you. I'll try and help out as much as I can. Where is everyone else? There's the kids. Where does the sun go at night? You have a good morning too, Mom. No, I don't want to get up yet, Mom. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. So Juliet must be outside. Yeah. All right, well, that is going to do it for the main playthrough. Thank you for tuning in to all these Stardew Valley modded runs, and I'll see you next time.